Hello everyone, welcome to Ethics Incorporated. Today we are going to talk about media ethics. In last few weeks, this subject is already being discussed on social media and in media itself, right? So let us see what is there to discuss about it, how to put together media and ethics, principles of ethics together. We live in a country where we have more than 82,000 newspapers, close to 800 TV channels, and thousands of internet-based platforms. Here, it becomes very important to see how they are operating and how they should operate. Because media in itself is a very powerful social institution which can change societies, which can shift cultures, which can change how families interact with each other and how individuals make choices. Not only that, it also shapes our thinking, it shapes our beliefs, and it also dominates the common ideas that people have about what is right and wrong, what is morally right and wrong. While media can do all these wonderful things, on the other side, media is used and generally can be used for a lot of negative purposes. Media is used to further propaganda. Many times it is used to do some kind of character assassination. Invasion of privacy is very common thing that happens nowadays with media. So it also is riddled with lot of ethical questions within it. Now, to go ahead of it, one must understand that we live in a country which is democratic setup. So media in a way plays very important role because it brings information to people in free and free manner. But there needs to be a caution that needs to be exercised. Why is there this need of caution? Exactly because media can do character assassinations. Media can invade somebody's privacy. However, this caution is not supposed to be legal in manner, or for that matter, even ethical in manner, especially imposed by state. Because if state starts imposing all these things on media, that is going to go against the freedom of expression and speech which is given by Constitution. Then the need of an hour is media platforms themselves come with some kind of code of conduct, code of ethics that will govern their working. And it has to be self-obligatory, keeping the values that we are going to go ahead with in this country so that it doesn't sort of impose itself on anybody else's rights. Now, this is a big task. Asking media to actually self-regulate itself is something that has been a question not only in India but in a lot of other countries. Now here, why do we need this code of conduct? Why do we need this code of ethics? So that media practitioners behave in a manner where information that has been given is accurate. There is objectivity while giving information. Truth and fairness is seen to it. Also, the information and opinions that are brought to people are given in impartial manner. Media is supposed to avoid harming or causing pain to anyone. If there is a sector, if there is a sort of industry which is working towards all these values, it's a tight rope to walk on. And so it becomes very important that some kind of formal institutional code of ethics, code of conduct comes into place. It is not that we haven't done anything. I'm going to give you some historical background for this. All India Newspaper Editors Conference, which is AINEC, adopted a code of ethics in 1968. And not only that, Parliamentary Code was formulated in 1976. And this was for Advertising Standards Council was done again in 1985, which then adopted Code of Self-Regulations. Again, there was another thing which was done in 1995, which is Guide to Journalistic Ethics, which was brought out by Press Council of India. So there have been efforts which have been constantly, the efforts were made so that journalism in India becomes more ethical, media in India becomes more ethical. Recently, a recent development in this manner was what is known as DNPA, which is Digital News Publishers Association, actually voluntarily drew up a code of ethics, which is a very welcome move. Why did they do that? They wrote a mandate, a code of ethics, which has 10 main points in it. And why did they do that? Is to sort of demonstrate their commitment to responsible digital publishing. Now there's so much news, there is so much opinion making which is done only digitally. There is no print to accompany, and so we need to also have new awareness that if the material is only going to go out digitally, we need to have some kind of code of ethics for that as also. Not only that, there has to be commitment for responsible publishing, but one needs to also worry about how to protect and maintain independence of journalists themselves, or people who create content, or publishers themselves, right? So the recent development of this code of ethics has been one of the things which is in news. You can see the the media coverage, the news coverage about it in the links also. Another thing is why is this discussion recently happening is also possible TRP scam that might have happened, where some of the new channels have been alleged where they have done sort of rigging of TRPs. Now, again, that is problematic because it creates doubts, it casts doubt about fairness and legitimacy of the system itself. Now, one might think, oh, TRP is just a game, it's just a game for media people. But it's not just a game for media people. It is essential collection of data as far as viewership in India goes. Along with that, it is primary basis on which advertisement decisions are taken in firms. And not only in private firms, even government does advertising on TV news channels, and how to spend that money is decided based upon TRP ratings, is decided based upon the data which is collected through TRP system. So this is actually public spending that we are talking about. If government is going to launch with a scheme, if there is something that is necessary for public to know, in COVID times we have seen how important it is that government sends right messages to right people at the right time. And all of that, all of those decisions are going to be based on viewership details. Now, we wouldn't want public expenditure to be done on a system which is flawed. So it becomes all the more important, and it is necessary that this is done in an ethical manner. It is seen to it that there's no wrongdoing in it, because it's ultimately public's money which is at the stake here, right? So there's a lot of discussion happening. I suggest all the people who are not only writing this mains, but then are generally preparing for UPSC to look into all these details, especially the code of ethics which were formulated in 1976, in 1985, and then in 1995. So to be aware about what are the roles of Press Council of India or Prasar Bharati and how do they operate is very essential for your clarity in answer writing. This has been, this we thought of doing because of the recent possible scam of TRPs, but then there is a lot which has been written. I hope that you can see it as an ethical issue in our country, and not just an issue about economic choices, not just an issue about political choices, but then it's essentially an ethical problem, right? So let's hope there is some insight that we gain through this video. We'll meet you again next week with new topic. That's it. Thank you.
Subscribe the Unique Academy's YouTube channel and press the bell icon for latest updates and videos.